Zero really is the only number that we need to aim for when it comes to veteran suicide, because somewhere between 17 and 22 a day commit suicide. I just read one about 3 weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago. Young vet, couldn't have been more than 35 years old, killed himself in a VA hospital parking lot because he wasn't getting the support he thought he needed. Whether they thought he needed it or not didn't make a difference, because in his mind, that's what hurts. Some of them might not leave for days on end, but they join our community and they have mental health support. And over the last about 2.5 years, we have impacted or saved 29 lives that we know of, and probably countless others, which is amazing. We will be getting it to 1,000 soon
Yeah.
enough. So we actually put a gaming bunker into a mental health institution down in Petersburg, have one in every location, 140 throughout this hospital system. And we know it works because they're using the living daylights at her.
We should all be aware because COVID taught us isolation, even for non-veterans,
Good.
didn't work.
Business with a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Business with a servant's heart. Listen to the podcast. We're all about to talk on life. Our guest will share his life story. We want you to success in life. We're ready and we will start shortly. We're gonna talk on life. We're gonna talk on business. You're gonna shine bright. We are gonna witness.
Shout out to my sponsors, A Mind for All Seasons. Your brain is your greatest competitive edge, so why not optimize it? Just text optimize to 72000, 72000 for instant access to 6 quick videos that help you think faster, remember more, and stay focused longer. A big thanks to Epic App, the 4-step storytelling system I use every day to connect and to convert. Try it free. Email me at stever1961@gmail.com. That's stever1961@gmail.com, and I'll get you the free app. Doing Business with a Servant's Heart was just named top 6 in small business marketing. Thank you, everybody, for listening and watching. Welcome, everyone, to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart podcast. I'm your host, Steve Ramona. I'm fired up for you to join us today. It's 2026. It's a new year. We're January. And you know what? When I get great nonprofits like this on the show, I'm so excited to share them and promote them and highlight them and talk about, especially this nonprofit. It does some great things. But before we start, here's our grateful quote for the day. Always stay true to yourself. You are perfect just the way you are. Think about
Amen.
that. Thank you,
Amen.
Mark. Let's stay true to ourselves.
You
With
got
that
it.
being said, let's bring Mark onto the podcast. Welcome, Mark.
Hey, thanks for having me, Steve. I look forward to this. Very much so.
Techs for Troops.
Yep.
Great name. How'd that all get inspired and come about?
So it was a mom and her son. The son had a friend came back from he's either Iraq, Afghanistan, and was living on their couch, didn't have a computer. And the son went to the mom and said, "Hey, how about if we get him a computer somehow?" And that literally was a genesis of, it was Tech for Troops project at the time. That was in July of 14. In December of 15th, I came aboard as the executive director. And by 18, we changed our name to Tech for Troops.
Now, you've served yourself.
I was in the Marine Corps, 83 to 87, Hawk missile technician, 5922 is my MOS. Yeah, and by 91, 92, the Marine Corps got rid of Hawk missiles because it was a fire and forget missile. Just let it go. And if it doesn't anything, oh, well.
Wow. I never heard that. That's why I love doing a podcast. You learn something crazy.
You learn something new. A little tidbit: in Vietnam, the SAMs that shot down our men and women our men who were flying, actually, average number of missiles was 13 to take down one airplane.
Whoa, that's a lot of money.
That's a lot. Yeah, but the Russians were paying for it. So,
Didn't matter. Not out of our pocket. Tech for Troops. We know this is a world of technology. We're 2026 now. How does getting Tech for Troops veterans help them in their life?
Oh my goodness, so much. So I mean, we all remember the pandemic, how everything was shut down and the VA was shut down. So this is just the telehealth portion of it. There were a lot of vets who couldn't get any kind of support or service or medical advice because they didn't have a computer and they weren't allowed in the hospital. And it wasn't really anybody's fault. It's just what it was at that time. And so there were a lot of men and women who probably have passed because of diseases that they could have taken care of if they had telehealth. So that's just part of it. The other part is as you're getting out or as you're out, you may fall onto hard times. And if you don't have a computer, you're not applying for a job today. Nobody accepts paper resumes. Nobody. So you better be able to send a resume via email or into the portal that they have for that company. Because if you don't, you're going to be stuck walking into a 7-Eleven, filling out or something along those lines and filling out an application by hand, and then going it that way. But you're not going to get a good job and lift yourself out of poverty and support your family.
Yeah, it's not only jobs, but making your doctor's appointments. Everything is
Everything.
to your phone, tablet,
Yep.
or computer.
Yep.
Yeah, it's powerful. Aiming
Yep.
for zero. I saw that in doing. What is that all about? What's the mission, using a military term?
So what we came up with. So one of my employees is a Navy then Army combat medic and saw a lot, did a lot. He has multiple TBIs. He's been in depressive modes. He's tried to commit suicide twice. Luckily, he failed. Right. And then what aiming for zero is zero really is the only number that we need to aim for when it comes to veteran suicide, because somewhere between 17 and 22 a day commit suicide. And that's across the United States. I just read one about 3 weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago. Young vet, couldn't have been more than 35 years old, killed himself in a VA hospital parking lot because he wasn't getting the support he thought he needed. Whether they thought he needed it or not didn't make a difference, because in his mind, that's what hurts. So what we do is we create a Discord and Twitch channel. Discord is like an old school bulletin board. Twitch is like Netflix for video games. And we play video games where a lot of vets are today, right? So they're doing this with their hands and they're sitting on their couch or whatever, and that's all they're doing. Some of them might not leave for days on end, but they join our community and they have mental health support. We're not counselors, we're not psychologists, we're not therapists, but we listen, because most of the time, a man or a woman needs somebody to listen and say, yo, bro, you okay? Are you all right? Come on, let's talk. And then have a conversation. And over the last about 2.5 years, we have impacted or saved 29 lives that we know of, and probably countless others, which is amazing, amazing. And makes my heart sing for that. I call it soul satisfying.
Oh, that's absolutely 29.
Yeah,
And when let's
29.
get that to 1,000, and we'll talk a little bit more about the numbers.
So we will be getting it to 1,000 soon
Yeah.
enough. We actually have what we call a bunker. So it's a game room, but it's in a mental health institution. And if you've ever been in therapy, I haven't, I can imagine, but you're there for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week until they let you out, whether it's for 3 weeks or 6 months, you're there and there's nothing to do besides your phone, therapy, and read, because you're not doing anything else. You're not going to McDonald's. You're not going out and visiting your buddies. So we actually put a gaming bunker into a mental health institution down in Petersburg. And we want to put that across the nation, right? Have one in every location, 140 throughout this hospital system. So the men and women who are in therapy have something to do during the day and at night. And we know it works because they're using the living daylights out of it.
So being busy, like any human, the busier you are, less we worry. So that's your goal
Correct.
with the vets. Keep them busy so
Absolutely.
PTSD and
Correct.
is pushed
Yep.
down a little bit. Their
Correct.
fears.
Yep. And if they do have some fears that pop up, then we're there to listen to them. We're there to talk to them and say, yo, bro, if they're not in therapy and they're out on the streets or in their home, hey, we're going to dial 988 for you, suicide hotline, and just be right. Stay with me. And then we'll, help get 988, who are the ones who counselors who can listen and get some help with them, have the police show up to the door and take care of them in a good way.
We should all be aware, because COVID taught us isolation, even for non-veterans,
Good.
didn't work. How
It
many
didn't
suicides
work.
happened or things happened? We should be aware of that, in
Yeah.
isolation,
Yep.
and that's what you're doing. You also mentioned talking about classes you do. We'll
Yeah.
talk about helping people. Talk about these classes, which is so powerful.
Absolutely. So we have a lot of vets, older and younger, right? There's no age difference in these. So we do in-person classes in 5 different locations around Virginia right now. I'd love to expand that across the nation, by the way. Do in-person classes, and they come in, and we always start with, and you have to in any class, start with the lowest common denominator, right? How to turn a computer on, because you'll see a man sit there, a woman too, sit there and look and then they reach out and they touch the button. So I'm looking down like, oh, you're doing that. So that's what I do. But they've never held a mouse before. So they don't know right click, left click, or how to move a cursor. So we teach it from that. And we always ask, dude, if you're getting in the command line, you're making changes that I can't do, help your brother next to you. Help your sister next to you understand what it is to use a computer, this tool. And then we teach them personal cybersecurity, AI security, financial literacy. We're partnered with a bank for that, Atlantic Union Bank, partner with a
Nice.
bank to make that happen. And we also provide 10,000 free classes online, everything from business entrepreneurship to Python coding to Microsoft Office, professional level. I mean, we give it, every veteran across the United States, whether you get a computer from us or not, gets access to these classes.
So you solve the problem when I don't know, I don't know. They don't
Correct.
know anymore. And
Yep.
that's powerful because we
That's
can't blame somebody.
yes.
Hey, Joe, the Marine veteran, he didn't know how to use a computer. People are like, well, everybody, no, not everybody uses a computer.
Yep.
That's,
It's true.
and if you do, your use
Yeah.
is so minimal
Right.
that you're actually getting training them to
Yep.
make it more powerful for them,
Yep.
right?
Yep. The one of the youngest vets I ever had in a class, and this was a couple of years ago. She was this woman out of the Air Force, and she couldn't have been more than 29 or 30 years old. And she literally, it was almost as if she'd never touched a computer before. She had, but like you said, it was such minimal usage, even in the Air Force. She had no idea. And I was teaching her. She had, it was heartwarming to see her grow in that 3 hours that we spent together. It was so heartwarming. And when she left, I guarantee you she's doing something good with her life because she wanted to.
So you're actually bringing joy as well. I just realized
Absolutely. Yeah.
because when you learn something and you can do it,
Yeah.
computer games,
Yep.
doesn't matter, you're
Yep.
winning.
You're winning. And no matter what you do in life after that, if you keep that skill with you and you enhance that skill, you'll be better off. Good.
You have any great story? I'm going to
I
retrain.
do. I
Do you have
do.
great stories? Tell us one or two stories with veterans because I want to
Yeah.
hear.
So I mean, this is another one when I was teaching classes, right? So this was 17, 18, 19, up until 20, probably. I was teaching classes. Um, we used to have Saturday classes. So we'd get 15 vets in here, teach them stuff. I always start, and as a Marine, I'm very much one of those guys that's going to call people out when they're late. That's just what I do. And I had this past Friday, I called a guy out who walked in about 2 minutes, said, give me 10 push-ups. He gave me 3, but it was fun. But this guy actually walked in the door like 15 minutes after classes started on this Saturday. And I get not mad, but I'm frustrated, right? What are you doing coming in? So I met him out in the hallway and I'm like, what are you doing coming into my late to my class? And he had a computer in his hand and had a Tech for Troops sticker on it. And he's like, I'm here to give it back to the next vet. And I said, shut up, come in class and tell me your story. So he literally came in front, and this one I tear up. He was a Vietnam vet,
Yes.
drug addict, alcoholic, spinning out of control. He got a computer from us, and he literally changed his life because of that tool. And he was working at I don't know where, but he was making enough money to be able to buy his own computer, and he was there to give it back. And that was like, I mean, this is what it's about. This is who you need to look up to as a hero, because he did something with his life that others need to do, that you need to do. He changed his trajectory, and he was a Vietnam vet. And that was
Amazing.
just, oh man, yeah, it was so powerful. And then last year before last, I was down at Columbia, South Carolina, Army base, and talking about resiliency, suicide prevention on this panel. But I also brought down computers for active duty and their families down there. And there were 10, right? Because I don't know those folks yet well, and I'm working on that relationship. So I brought 10 down, and they brought up 10, and we did pictures and stuff. But when we handed them out, the 8 guys, there were 2 women, 8 guys. The 8 guys were like, yeah, computer, yeah, 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 you're right. Guys are going to be. The one woman was like happy, but one woman literally stood there with it in her hand, and she was about crying. And I saw her, and I just went up, put my hand on her shoulder. This is what we do. You call me if you ever need me. And I gave her my card. And I know we changed somebody's life that day. It was tough, right? It was tough, good. It was tough, amazing. It wasn't tough, bad. It was, yeah. I went home. It was a 6-hour drive one way. I went home happy. I
Oh my
really,
God,
really did.
what a drive home.
It
And
was.
you're touching on this because the servant's heart in business, it's about community. I can't serve,
Yeah.
I can serve
Yeah.
myself, but it only goes so far. I want to be able to talk about the influx of community that you're building, because you're not just helping veterans, you're helping
No.
outside, like people like me. I'm fired
Yeah.
up right now. So
Yeah.
talk about that.
So tomorrow we were reached out to by nonprofit organization who deals with Down syndrome. And he's like, Mark, can I get a computer for this young man? He needs one for his job, whatever he's doing. And I'm like, absolutely, right. Let's do that. And so we do support outside of the veteran community. It's a one-off because it's not our mission, and I can't make that our mission. But what it comes down to is I look at the world as a big ugly place, because it truly is. And I want the world a better place when I leave. I want my legacy for not for me, but I want people to say Tech for Troops helped out X. It has nothing to do with Mark, has to do with our mission and what we do. And with that, a long time ago I created a half a program. I was going to say, the double letter SS in there. I, but I'm not sure we're going to do that here today. But anyway, but I bring in special needs folks, and they support us. They get out of the house, they mainstream, they tear apart computers, they help us clean up. They're laughing, they're joking, they're doing things that they're not going to get anywhere else. And nobody here is going to demean anybody's special needs, because I will fire them, period. And if they're a volunteer here, I'll ask them to leave right then and there if I hear about it, because they're just different than us, but they're not different than us. They're the same as us. So I have a real heart for that. That's what we do.
You're so humble, because I'm going to tell you your legacy is powerful. Because it's not just Mark, it's everybody. But you're waking up every morning, you're jumping on this podcast, you're doing the things you're doing, and that's what legacy is. It's not ego. It's not ego. Is actually your ego. Right. I learned this from one of my guests, Mark Hunter. Empowering greater outcomes. That's what you're doing, building legacy. It's powerful.
I agree. So
the other part of this is because there's more audience, and you're gonna sounds like Oprah Winfrey. You get more, or whoever that guy, Ronco, whatever that guy was.
Right.
Because I was in e-waste, and we've talked. 2006, 2013, I did e-waste. It's an epidemic, and people don't know a lot about it. Yeah. That's the other component you're doing. How are you helping with e-waste?
So 2024, we kept about 800,000 pounds out of the landfill, right? So that's the batteries, the lithium, the gold, the silver, the titanium, all the light steel, all that stuff. Last year we went down, and reason why is we lost a major supplier. Lost being a hard term to use, but it is what it is. There was a large organization, huge, who was sending us tractor trailers every month full of stuff that we could do something with. And somebody got a hold of it in the corporate-ish world and said, oh, we're not getting something out of it, and it ended. So we went down from 800 to about 600,000 pounds last year, but still keeping 600,000 pounds of e-waste out of the landfill. 300 tons is a massive, massive accomplishment for an organization our size. Right? So we have 17 or 18 employees. We have 8,000 square feet. And we're looking to build a building. I'm actually got to start that conversation with the organization, because my board really is interested in that. And we want to get to 1 million pounds a year, keeping it at just from my one location. If we expand, I want 1 million pounds at each location, because it's the right thing to do. And honestly, y'all, if you're throwing your electronics in the trash, send it to me. Send it to me. I'll do something with it, keep it out of the landfill. We'll reuse it in some way, shape, or something. Because if I was Elon Musk, I'd be buying up all the old landfills. I really would. I'd be like, man, there's gold in there. There's probably a couple pounds of gold in there. Silver, titanium, rare earth metals, all the light steel that's just rusting out. Don't get me started. Yeah. Well, you did get me started.
I did, because there's 2012. I got to see a landfill 13 years ago. I can imagine now, but I saw a landfill that we couldn't pull the stuff out, legalities and all, because there was thousands of computers we could have saved, you did. And it was catastrophic.
Yeah.
What you saw, what they were telling me, and I won't get into it. And that was 13 years ago. I can't imagine now.
Yeah.
So how can the audience participate when they have lab? Tell them what they can bring to you, and how can they can bring it to you.
So within a certain range, we can make pickups. We asked for 20 to 30 computers or more. to make it worthwhile time, right? So somebody said, I have one laptop, come get it from this business. That's not a return on investment we can do because of the gas and all that other kinds of to pay employees to do all that kind of stuff. So if we have enough of good i5, i7 generation computers, we want to be able to pick those up, make that easy for you. But if you're living like, say, in Kansas City, and you want to ship us some stuff, we have what's called Give Back Box. It's on our webpage, on our donation page. Look for Give Back Box, and you can cram, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 pounds inside a UPS box, slap a label on it, pay, I think it's $25 for a label, but we'll get that. If you please put your name in it and your address so we can send you a thank you card, because we get a lot of give back boxes with nothing, and I have no idea who shipped it, because the from is Tech for Troops and the to is Tech for Troops, and I didn't ship it to myself. So please put your name and address in there, and we'd love to send you a thank you for that. But inundate us, right? We get give back boxes in probably 3 or 4 times a week, not a year, a week. And if we could make
So
the warehouse fill up with give back boxes, I'd be very happy.
what do you want to see in those boxes? Obviously, you don't want desktop computers; they're too big,
Well, I mean,
right?
if somebody wants to ship a desktop, it probably won't be, well, I mean, if you could fit that and securely secure it in a box, sure, I'd be willing, but laptops, desktops, servers, routers, switches, I mean, a lot of this stuff's too big, a lot of it's too heavy, but we can work with you on that. But usually laptops and other kind of um smaller electronics, cell phones, we accept cell phones, clock radios, VCRs, things like that. We'll take all of that and keep it out of the landfill.
Yeah, you inspired me when I first met you. We're coming to the end here.
Yeah,
My inspirations, I'm my mind's spinning. So this is what I'm going to do, audience.
always.
I have some brand new servers here from Verizon, small little, I'm going to send to you. So I'm
Huh?
going to take the first step. I've got some other stuff because you make it so simple, which I love about you. But
Thank you.
here's the other thing I'm going to do. The first, I usually do 3, but I'm going to do the first 5 people that reach out through a give box, send you something. I'm going to send them all a free book.
Oh, I love
How's that
that.
sound?
I love
So
that.
you make sure on the label you put their name, all your information, but you mention my name or the
I was
podcast.
just going to say, make sure you mention Steve's name, and I will let Steve know.
Yeah, you'll never know, audience. You'll never know it's from me. If you do, and I'll give you an out. If you email him or reach out to him and say I send a give box when he receives it, he'll tell me, and I'll
Yep,
get your contact info and
absolutely.
I'll
We'll do
email
that.
you. One of my favorite success books has changed my life. I will do that because in this world, gifts giving and
Yeah,
receiving has to be reciprocity. So I'm
yeah.
willing to do that. We'll do that. Let's end with a fun question because we
Uh-oh.
had so much fun today. So we're going to your favorite restaurant, Mark. I'm going to reserve a table. You're going to invite, excuse me, 3 people who've been influential in your life, who've changed your life, have made a difference in your life, whether dead or
Yeah.
alive. And more importantly, for me, what are you ordering for dinner?
So I would love for us to go to one of 2 different restaurants, either Thai or Vietnamese.
Okay.
Love both. I don't really care what I get as long as it's not too spicy, because heartburn just kills me. But I would get something that's just not spicy. It doesn't make a difference what. The 3 people, one would be my former father-in-law, former because he's deceased. He was probably the man I look up to the most in terms of his faith, as well as how he treated people. He was the consummate kindness gentleman, always dressed suit and tie, had a little dapper handkerchief. I mean, no matter where he went, he was that guy, holding doors open for ladies, all that kind of stuff, right? So I learned by observing from him, because I wasn't smart enough to listen, and I would love to pick his brain about where all of that, how he grew up, all of it. Just, it would be so cool. Second person I would love to have lunch with would be, and honestly, it's going to sound funny, but Sammy Hagar was my go-to rocker, right? And I've watched a lot of his stuff on TV, and and Sammy, if you're listening, this comes from my heart. You're like a big goober. You really are. And you're fun and you're laughing and stuff, but it would have to be more of a serious conversation. Not always serious, but more of a serious conversation. Like, how did you get from point A to point B to point C and become who you are? Right. Not just because you're a singer in a rock and roll band, you took Van Halen to heights it never saw, but how did you make those decisions, and who was mentoring you to help you make that decision? And the third is going to sound really corny, but I'd take my soulmate, my wife. right? She's been there for 40 years for me. And I've learned a lot from her. We still fight, not really. We have discussions, but she's my go-to whenever I have an issue because she's very, very level-headed, and she always has been, and she stuck by me through more thick, or I don't know which one's worse, thick or thin, but
Thick.
whatever's the worst
Yeah.
one. Yeah, she stuck by me through all the stuff that I was doing stupid when I shouldn't have been doing stupid. So those would
Amen.
be my three.
Great wives change their lives. That is for
Absolutely.
sure.
The power behind
Absolutely.
the throne, baby.
Yes. How can people reach out? Again, thank you for taking the time. This has
Absolutely.
been unbelievable. How can people reach out again and connect with you?
We'd love to do info@techfortroops.org, info@techfortroops.org, or just use the contact us page on our webpage. Best way to do it. If you're in Richmond, stop on by. We're right off of Staples Mill at 64. It's a little area. I mean, you'll find us on our address on the webpage. Love to see you. Come on by and please help us out. We'd love to have your support. Oh, and let me say
Awesome.
this. Let me say this,
Go
Steve, real
ahead.
quick.
Yep.
If you're not into the veteran community and that's not your Jones, right? That's not the thing that you like to do, help out another nonprofit. It doesn't make a difference. We all need help, right? If you're into art and you know an artist one, go help somehow. Volunteer. It doesn't always have to be $1 million. It doesn't, y'all. It could be just your time or your wisdom. So do something, make the world a better place.
Of course, Mark's ends was a servant's heart. What a way to wrap up this show. And real quick, audience, subscribe to the podcast on YouTube or the podcast platform, wherever. And here's why. This is a link.
Yeah.
If you're out there in the audience, you're listening and you're a veteran, did we just impact them? Because they reach out to Mark, get a laptop, or you have friends that are veterans. That's why I'm giving my stuff, because I never served. Mark served, and thank you for your service, Mark. But these are gifts because you can send, they're like, I don't know, a text for true. Well, send them the link to the podcast. I haven't listened for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Let them decide. They go, this is great. They reach out to Mark,
Yep.
and some of those stories could be their stories, the impact that you made. So go ahead and do that.
Amazing.
Yes. Mark and me want to thank all of you for watching
Absolutely.
or listening to this podcast. And we'll see you all in the next episode of Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. Have a great day, everyone.
Have a great day, y'all.